So the war is on between the Realme X2 Pro and the OnePlus 7T for being the best affordable flagship out there. Both of them pack in some amazing hardware specifications at a really competitive price, which makes them the go-to choice for a number of buyers. While both the devices are quite comparable in performance department, there's a stark difference in the camera capabilities, and that's exactly what we are going to talk about in this video. Hi guys, this is Ashish from Guiding Tech, and let's get right into it, shall we? So to begin with, we'll take a look at the camera performance in an ample amount of light. Now it's worth noticing that the day we tested out the cameras, it was quite bright and sunny in the morning. It goes without saying that all the shots captured in this test were taken in auto mode with the HDR set as auto and the AI were turned off. So now let's take a look at some samples. So if you take a look at this first image, both the phones have done a pretty decent job of capturing it. But the Realme X2 Pro here is softer when compared to the OnePlus 7T's image. It's quite a bit flat in comparison to the other, and on the OnePlus side of things, the image has deeper black levels, more contrast, and in some areas, the punchiness kills the darker details. However, if we move on to this image or this, we can see not too many major differences here. In the tree image on the Realme X2 Pro, the trunk details are there, but there is more prominence on the tree trunk on the OnePlus 7T. If you look closely at the structure of the leaves and the other trunks, you will see that there is better visibility and clarity on the OnePlus 7T. So now let's take a look at these shots. Straight away we see a change in the mood of the overall scene. The scene captured by the Realme X2 Pro is a happy scene with more vibrant colors, blue skies, and even the black level is better when compared to the OnePlus 7T, which creates a rather dull and gloomy scene. Now the above example is also there to take note of the subjective preference. Some may like the photo captured by the Realme X2 Pro, while others might like the OnePlus 7T. So it depends upon person to person. If you want more saturated photos, Color OS of the Realme X2 Pro is the choice. So moving on, as these images come and go by, we see that the Realme X2 Pro generally creates rich colors, deep contrast, and more vibrant images. On the other hand, the OnePlus 7T tends to move towards the natural side of things, maintaining an even exposure in most of the images, natural colors, and slightly lighter contrast. So now let's move on to the macro camera. And as you already know that both the cameras come with a dedicated macro mode, and as you can see from the images, the OnePlus 7T does a better job of retaining details and has excellent reproduction of textures of the tree. The Realme X2 Pro is however not far behind. It has also done a good job at retaining details and the overall tone of the image. But the point here to know that is that the Realme X2 Pro macro distance is like 4 centimeters. So if you move closer to the objects, they kind of like blur out the subject. Now moving on to the portrait section, both the cameras do a good job of blurring the background and keeping the subject in focus. On the OnePlus 7T, edge detection is good, but the strong background blur is a tad bit artificial when compared to the Realme X2 Pro's image. On the Realme X2 Pro, the colors were so much different. I mean, the t-shirt I'm wearing is of the orange color that is correctly shown on the OnePlus 7T. However, it somehow turns into pink, and I'm not sure why it is doing that, because it's just not one photo, it has been done. So yes, color reproduction on the X2 Pro might be an issue. However, if you take a look at this photo, the colors are almost correct, and even with more complex and insufficient lighting details, portraits comes out to be pretty good on both the devices. So well, after that, let's move on to selfies and selfie portraits. And even without autofocus, selfies look pretty nice, detailed with wide dynamic range and natural looking skin tones. The Realme X2 Pro produces bright selfies, but the exposure level is a bit on the upside when compared to the OnePlus 7T. And due to this, you'll notice that the color reproduction is a bit different on both the images. The images from the front camera of the OnePlus 7T in daylight are a bit dark in this image when compared to the Realme X2 Pro, but have enough details. The color rendition is also decent and skin tones look almost accurate. The HDR works to keep the dynamic range in the background in check, but we did notice that some harsh highlights in the background of the Realme X2 Pro when looked closely. And now let's move on to the low light comparisons. The images captured here from both the cameras have differences in terms of noise, shadows and overall exposure. On the OnePlus 7T, the images have less noise and comparatively better shadows and overall exposure. If we look at the image captured by the Realme X2 Pro, you cannot retain anything from the shadows. The sky is noisy and even the upper faded black areas have noise in them. In this image, the Realme X2 Pro does a decent job than in the previous one, but it still falls short if we compare to OnePlus 7T. Overall, in the night images, the OnePlus 7T provides good balanced images according to the available light present and also preserves good definition without blowing the overall exposure compensation. And moving on to the videos, the Realme X2 Pro can record in 4K at 30 and 60 fps while 1080p videos at 120 fps. There's also an ultra slow motion mode at 720p where it captures 960 frames per second. Here's how the video turns out for both the cameras though. The X2 Pro also supports 4K stabilization and it's pretty effective. The same goes for the 1080p, and as expected there's a lot of detail compared to the 2160p footage. The rendering is the same as the 4K mode. The OnePlus 7T Pro on the other hand is capable of recording 4K videos in 30 and 60 fps on the main 48 megapixel wide sensor. It can also record 4K 30 fps videos on the 2x telephoto but only 1080p on the ultra wide camera. There's also a variety of slow motion modes including a 960 fps super slow motion feature. So now with that, let's round up the camera comparison and sum up everything we have seen so far. The OnePlus 7T is a clear winner for me. Photos captured by the phones have better natural color reproduction, captures more details and decent dynamic range. In comparison, the Realme X2 Pro offers better dynamic range in daylight photos and has more vibrant color profile. It also captures natural looking portraits, but it loses in the department of macro photos where the OnePlus 7T is just better. Even the low light photos take a hit due to the loss of details, more noise and color accuracy. But finally, the color reproduction, the color saturation all boils down to personal preferences as well. So do let us know which photos did you prefer in the comment section below. And also let us know if you'd like to see more camera comparisons like this one in the future, along with the names of the devices you want us to be pitched against each other. Yeah, why not? Tell us in the comment section. So guys, this is Ashish signing off and I hope to see you in our next video. Until then, take care and have a wonderful day. Bye bye.